All right, so ready to dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Today we're going to be looking at generative AI projects. Getting them off the ground, and I guess more specifically, like what are those common roadblocks that people hit?
Yeah,
Those things that just totally stall progress.
for sure.
You sent over some really fascinating material on this.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Awesome. So let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that you highlighted was just how difficult it is to find qualified people to work on these generative AI projects.
Uh-huh.
Like, it seems like every company out there is searching for, like, the same, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Like this mythical, magical creature.
Right.
What's your take on why this is such a struggle?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just how fast everything's moving.
Oh, for sure.
It's like it's a totally new field.
Yeah.
So, we're not just talking about like basic data science skills anymore.
Yeah.
Like companies are really looking for very, very specific skill sets.
Yeah.
Whether it's, I don't even know how to say it, prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a whole thing now.
Yeah.
Or, like how to fine tune these massive language models.
Right.
Or even, going a step further and actually understanding how they work.
Oh, yeah. It's
Huh.
not just, it's not just like, can you code? It's like,
Right.
can you understand this thing on a fundamental level?
Right. Exactly.
And then even if you can, there's nobody out there who can.
And even if you can find them,
Yeah.
the competition is just, it's wild.
I was going to say, that's got to play a part in it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a bidding war for all these folks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're seeing people like getting these ridiculous offers.
Oh, for sure.
And, for smaller companies, it's impossible to keep up.
Yeah, so you can't get the people, and even if you could, you probably can't afford them.
Exactly.
Which I feel like that kind of leads right into the next problem you were talking about.
Yeah.
Just the high cost of all of this.
Yes.
And we're not just talking about salaries here.
Right.
What other things are making these projects so expensive?
So, well, I mean, first of all, you need a lot of computing power.
Oh, yeah.
These models, like to train them,
Huge amounts of data.
tons of data, tons of processing power, and that all costs money.
Right. And then you got to have the infrastructure for all that.
Exactly.
So that right there is a huge chunk.
Exactly. And then the other thing is that, developing these models, it's not like a straight line.
Yeah.
You don't just go from A to B.
Okay.
There's a ton of experimentation.
Yeah.
Going back, tweaking things, trying again.
So you're kind of building the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You're constantly making adjustments on the fly.
Right.
And that takes a lot of time and resources.
And all that adds up.
Yeah.
And so, one thing that I think people are looking at is these cloud-based AI platforms.
Okay.
Services like what are some of them? Like AWS SageMaker
Right.
or Google's AI platform.
Google's got one. Yeah.
And these can actually be really helppful because they already have pre-built models
Yeah.
and infrastructure and stuff.
Oh, right.
So, that can help cut down on some of the the initial cost.
Right. So it's you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
You've got some of the pieces already in place.
Exactly.
So, it sounds like you've got all these resources.
Yeah.
You've got the talent, you've got the tech.
Hopefully.
But even then, it seems like having some sort of experience guidance is a huge advantage.
Oh, for sure.
And you mentioned this as the third big roadblock.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why that's so important in this area?
Well, I think, it's you can have all the tools in the world,
Yeah.
but if you don't know how to use them,
Right.
you're just going to, wander around lost.
Yeah, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
You're going to make really expensive mistakes.
You're going to make mistakes.
And an experienced mentor,
Yeah.
they can help you avoid those common pitfalls.
Exactly.
What are some of the things that trip people up?
Well, one thing is overfitting the models.
Okay.
That's a common one.
What does that even mean?
So basically it means you're training the model too well on your specific data.
Okay.
And so then it doesn't work as well on new data.
Gotcha.
And then the other thing is, people sometimes forget about the ethical implications
Oh, yeah?
of all this.
Yeah, there's a whole other layer to this.
Yeah.
So a mentor can help you think through those things.
Absolutely.
Keep you on the right track. And then also they can probably speed things up, right?
No, yeah.
Because they've been there, they've done that.
They've seen it all.
They can be like, oh yeah, we tried that, it didn't work.
Right.
Don't even bother.
Exactly.
Like skip ahead a few steps.
Right.
Avoid those dead ends.
And they can also help create a culture of learning on the team,
Oh, okay.
which is really important.
So it's not just about like the technical stuff. It's about like how the team works together
Exactly.
and how they learn from each other.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like having a mentor is like it's like having a map and compass in a vast uncharted wilderness.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
You need someone who's been there before to guide you.
Exactly.
And I imagine it's not just about the technical expertise.
Right.
It's also about understanding the bigger picture.
Yes,
It's like
absolutely.
how does this fit into the business? How do we use this responsibly?
Right.
So wow, this has been really
I'm
eye-opening.
glad.
So we've got like this trifecta of challenges,
Yeah.
right? Finding the people,
Yeah.
paying for everything,
Yeah.
and then like making sure you've got someone to guide you.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's also like super exciting, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is cutting edge stuff.
For sure.
So I'm kind of curious to get your take on like what does all this mean for the future?
Yeah.
As generative AI becomes more, I don't know, more accessible, more mainstream.
Yeah, more available.
Like, do you think these challenges are just gonna like stay the same,
Right.
or are they gonna like morph into something else?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
I think as the tools get easier to use
Okay.
and maybe a little bit cheaper,
Yeah.
we might actually see a shift in the kind of skills that are in demand. Oh, interesting.
Maybe it'll become less about like the purely technical stuff,
Yeah.
and more about how to actually use this stuff creatively.
Right. So more the strategic side.
Exactly.
Less of the like nuts and bolts.
Right.
Wow, that's really fascinating to think about.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I also think, like, as this technology gets more and more integrated into our lives, that whole ethical consideration piece, that's only going to become more important.
Absolutely.
Like, how do we use this stuff responsibly? How do we make sure it's not being used for, harmful purposes?
Right.
I mean, it's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's an exciting time to be in this space.
For sure.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation.
I've enjoyed it.
I feel like I've learned a ton.
Me too.
Thanks for taking the time to dive deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.